You see, I know you're somewhere viewing this. You're on a screen, behind it, in front of it, looking through to get to me. I know of this. It's true, it's you, it's me. We're getting together, we're seeing something on a screen, but secretly in the background, we're syncing together everything so we can handle this going out everywhere depending on where you're at. It doesn't really matter because you can drop in at YouTube and drop on the chat to see if you pop up in here, because guess what, it is another time to say welcome to the show. It's 3D Changes Perspectives, and I hope to change your perspective today on a couple of things. Not only the Ripple situation, but hardware wallets. It's a weird one, but I really honestly think using one to catalyst into the other might actually help change both perspectives simultaneously. So as predominant holders of cryptocurrency, like one of the major guys in Ripple, are being struck by thefts, hacks, and is there really a way for everyone else to protect themselves? And is that the way of the hardware wallet? I mean, that's kind of like the main question of today. And I think before we go ahead and jump into it, let's thank our sponsor, roundlyx.com. That's right, if you jump over to roundlyx.com right now, you can get set up to where you can basically round up your purchases with your card to DCA into cryptocurrency. And I think this is a really great way for a lot of people to just get bits in without really doing a whole lot. I call this like taxing yourself. So you every time you spend money, you round up your purchase up to the next dollar, and you DCA into some cryptocurrency. And to me, that's awesome. And now they also have this thing called Ideal Pump, something I really enjoy. It lets me figure out what to get into, what to head into, and just I kind of use it to set what I want to DCA into next. And I really love it. So drop in useroundlyx.com. Use the sign up code Changes Perspectives to get a free $15 in Bitcoin if you sign up today. And let's go ahead and start the show. Aw man, thank you again, RoundlyX.com, for sponsoring us and the Bitcoin Live Network. DB, couldn't have done it without you guys. It's really awesome, and we have an awesome show for you today. Again, you seen the title, you heard what I said, but I do want to point out that we did have like an episode, a handful of episodes ago, where we did like a BTC testnet over the radio. We actually broadcasted Bitcoin over the radio, and we also broadcasted Bitcoin testnet transaction. Well, that testnet transaction we broadcasted found its way on chain, so we're going to go ahead and do a giveaway as a thank you for helping us get the first over the radio Bitcoin testnet transaction. And if you make it till the end, you can actually learn of when and how we're going to do all that, so we'll give you a little bit more info then. Alright, so I'm just going to keep on going. Like I said, I know I've talked about hardware wallets here and there, but I've never exclusively talked about them. And after the recent events with the Ripple theft confusion, I really just wanted to start there, the point of the theft, and work our way through the steps of like what you got to do after being hit with an attack, and then using that information to determine like which hardware wallet's best for us, or what to determine is a good hardware wallet at all, or are there even alternative options, because there are. And so now let's get into the thick of it. Um, there we go. I missed my big screen. I lost it. Oh no. So once again, we're going to drop in. We're going to give you a QR right up there. Yep, here it is. We're going to go ahead and drop you a QR for every one of these we go to, so you can follow along. If it's after the fact, guess what? You can still follow along. So here we go. If you notice, it dropped us to below and I went up. So Chris Larson had an attack. Most people are going to saw this first. This was the first, I think, public announcement of the situation. And as we can see, Zach BT, he only has down here, he has this registered just as Ripple. And I don't know if it's him that has this registered as Ripple, or if it's just the system he's using. It might be breadcrumbs or something like that. It looks like there's a watermark for TRM. That might be a different one. But the system it's set up for does say it's set for Ripple, so that's why he tags Ripple. And he's done that before. He just tags the the main whatever, or the relative party involved or overseeing the whatever. Normally it's a project or something like that, so it's a little different when it just looks like um, main Ripple money. So he says basically, yeah, there was an unauthorized and some access to some personal accounts of his, blah blah blah. And then he also says this thing, which really got everyone confused, which was basically, hey, this is isolated, so this is because of a certain type of situation. We've already got a lot of the bug fixed. Funds were frozen, and that's a big scenario that confused everybody. Funds are frozen now. If we go through here, you're going to see tons of people just asking that question. And I got presented this question even, and I do have Ripple blocked in case you guys are wondering. Yeah, that's from a long time ago. But anyways, it does seem like manipulation. But then I looked into it and found out, oh, it's nothing burglar. It wasn't like on-chain funds were frozen or something. Because there are a way to freeze chain funds on chain. There's also a way to promise freezing of chain funds on chain. But sure enough, what they did is they got some proofs, some form of proofs to prove that their money was hit maliciously, was moved maliciously, and then who it was going to, potentially trying to prove maybe one of them was a bad actor of some kind, and then sending it to, um, exchanges first. They send it to a bunch of exchanges to try to get the funds frozen, and Binance being one of the main ones that did exactly that. Once they saw what was going on, they just went ahead and froze them as soon as they saw them. But of course, a large portion of the funds had already happened. They only got a portion of the funds frozen. And I think most of the fact of the XRP tokens themselves are frozen, but the most of the people who took advantage of this scenario or situational problem definitely, yeah, they definitely profited. Let's just say it that way. They got a lot of money. They were actually able to swap after the fact, and so people who got their stuff frozen legitimately weren't involved, and some of them might have been. They're still working on it. Let's just go with that. It's complicated, but that's who froze them, and that kind of gives us an ideal of what the process is if we get money stolen from us. Now, I do know that there's a potential bug with hardware wallet and software wallet on Ripple. The potential bug is when you have one wallet being used in a hardware wallet and in a software wallet. And in some cases, hardware wallets have like special plugins for some blockchains, and that could be that plugin as well as a software plugin or an API or any kind of um, data structure within the systems outside of the actual blockchain. So how we can communicate with the blockchain. Um, So just to be upfront, no matter what chain you're on, best type of hardware wallet is a hardware wallet that directly talks to a node for its information. It does not go through an API structure. I know you can have an API structure in your node, um, but basically what that means is that if you're going through an API structure, you're just going through someone else's node. You want to make sure you're going through your node. Not everyone's going to have a node. Yeah, sure. But if you want the safest, that is the way to go. Let me double check, make sure you guys get this link. So we're going to drop in, give you the next link. Um, so what are the 5 ways we can steal crypto? Crypto can get stolen from us. And I looked at a bunch of these different pages that say what are the top ways crypto can be stolen. And this one, from my understanding, the information is not in regarding of NFTs, or NFTs are not really looked at. It's mostly, it's like scams, promises not made, things like that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So here's this first one: exchange hacks. The amount of money from hacking exchanges themselves are dramatically large. Exit scams. This is what I meant by like promises not being made, things like that. ICOs, things like that. Um, Big, huge thing there. Phishing attacks. That's when they actually come after you. Through your email or something, or they social attack you, something like that. That's all going to be some form of phishing attack. Um, That is a very, very big point, and one of the reasons why it's a big point we'll get into in a minute. So, password or private key theft, I think for most people, um, this is, I think, what they were really worried about, and for good reason. And then device hack is another one they're going to be worried about. And then, if anything, phishing attack. So phishing, password and private key theft, and then device hacks. And of course, you see here in the example they give is actually a cell phone attack, SIM swamp. So this is the reason why people are going to be looking at hardware wallets to try to mitigate some of these attacks. Because phishing attacks, you can mitigate that with a hardware wallet. Simply make it more difficult for you to just simply use your crypto. Makes phishing attacks way more difficult for the phisher because it's not on your computer, information ain't there, or it's on some other device basically. Or, in order for you to get involved, it requires much more effort for you, which means they have to make it seem way more bountiful for you to take that extra effort. Password theft, management key theft, again, another reason why people are going to want to go to a hardware wallet. I would recommend a paper wallet all day for this, though. Um, and then device hacks. This is, again, they're talking about mostly cell phones here, but if we was to actually think about also hardware wallets in this case, we'll see that this is still a target. This is still a problem. Um, and that's something that we're going to have to look at even with hardware wallets because it's a device that can be hacked. No matter what we say, if it's electronical, it can be hacked. So here we have a base 58 encoder decoder. We've gone over these before. We've talked about this specific one. And the reason why I'm bringing it up here is on your own, whatever web browser you have, drop into, if you have an alternative web browser, drop into that before. And just type in some text, not too terribly long. And then just simply copy and paste. That's it. Just copy and paste. So I'm going to copy it. We're going to paste it. And there's a chance that while you're going through this process, you can get it to go, hey, I see that you have a crypto wallet, or you pasted a wallet, or you copied a wallet. And these systems, they definitely they're designed to look for it all the time. I don't know a good way to explain. I was hoping this would help you show it. The first time I did, it actually did do it for me. But there's this thing where they actually save. I don't know if it's the key or the fact that they had a key. It might be that you need a different one, but they actually saved the key to my cookies in some form. So when this thing saw that I had it and it said, "Hey, you pasted a wallet," it actually dropped it into a book. Sorry, I can't remember what I was talking about. It dropped my key into a cookie, and you have to go through and you have to delete your cookies. And I haven't deleted my cookie for the site since the last time I was playing with this. But you do this, and you'll see maybe your alternative or whatever. But I also like to use this as a way to figure out, is my browser hardened enough to where it's not looking for it? Now this browser specifically is trying to look for it because it has a wallet built in. I think I have my wallet turned off right now, actually. That might be one reason why it's not looking for it. But a lot of your browsers nowadays have wallets built in. So a lot of them are going to be looking for keys. A lot of systems are looking for keys. You're getting slowly to a point where no matter what you do, they're always looking for your money, for you that you have money. Everything's looking for a wallet address or something similar to it. And so I should have gone through all these and backed out of the ad side, but oh well. What do you do when crypto's been stolen? Okay, this is the question. Kind of explain a little bit of it. You gotta act as fast as you can to trace your stolen crypto. Most likely, it's already been traded out. You have to identify crypto thieves. You have to find who these people are going to. If you can actually see the wallets they're going to, and you can see one of them has been identified or publicly identified as like a hacker or a theft or something like that, then that will definitely help your case. Because it can be difficult to prove that
someone's stealing your money. Now, getting your actual funds back, when you go through all this, you'll see that basically they even talk about like the whole Ripple thing that we're just literally talking about. You'll see that it's it comes down to a point where it's like you got to take your proofs, you got to send them to the exchanges. You then have to contact your local authority, and you have to get information from them. Then you have to take paperwork proving that you're talking to them, and take them to the exchanges, and then you have to get other paperwork after the exchange is actually freezing your stuff. You got to get other paperwork to then get the exchange to release the funds to you. That then normally requires like a judge or someone or some kind of a seal of approval from a state agency. It can be very, very complicated to get your funds back, and so that's why a lot of people are going to just want to figure out the best methods to just not have that happen. And so I do want to point out something else though before we actually get into, because like best methods, we've run through a bunch of that, and we're going to talk again. We're talking about hardware wallets today as a method for handling. So one of the things I want to point out, we said contact your local agency. Here's an FBI statement from the USA. Most people are probably going to think, yeah, contact the FBI. I had something stolen from me. Contact the FBI or even the CIA. But this statement from the FBI specifically says that if you think you were if you were a victim of a crypto scam, you actually contact IC3. So a completely different agency is who you actually need to contact. Now, something I do think is really important, they still want you to provide information to the FBI and IC3. But here's the information they want. Transaction details include cryptocurrency address, amount, and type of currency, date and time, transaction ID, the hash. These unique identifiers vary in length and blah blah blah. So here we go. This is a basic proof of an attack. There's the address that was attacked, there's how much, the time, and the actual transaction of it leaving when it shouldn't have been. So with your proof, you might need a lot more than this. You might need to know where it's going to, and other things like that. And I think that's probably just really the only other thing you might need, where it went to. But that might be less important. This might be just the bare minimum, which that's good. Okay, so we got an idea of what kind of proof we need. Nice. So you see right here, NerdWallet. Now, when I was younger, in my college years or whatever, NerdWallet was always that thing that seemed really cool. It came out back at that time, and it was like, oh, it gives you a bunch of stats and information. And it's just kind of weird to see that out of all the places I looked at for like top hardware wallets, because I wanted to see what you guys would be getting when you search this, this was actually one of the best ones that I found. So let's look at it. What makes it so good? SafePal. Actually, SafePal is one that I've recommended before. It's actually a pretty dang good wallet. You can see it's a pretty decent price. More than 30,000 cryptocurrencies, which is probably one of the main reasons why it gets suggested so much. Let's see what they say. SafePal's affordable hardware wallet is the size of a credit card, making it a worthy partner for a traditional cash wallet. It has a small screen and a camera on it, which allows it to display and scan QR codes and authenticate transactions offline. That's very important. Offline. This type of connection is more secure than Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and a USB plug-in connection, as those methods still need internet access and can be hacked. Now, keep in mind, anything can be hacked, but let's just keep in mind that they're talking about if it can connect to the internet, it can be remote hacked. So the wallets have capacity to store over 30,000 different. Well, this wallet has capacity to store 30,000 different cryptocurrencies. The app enables purchases, swaps, conversion, staking, and NFT management. So as you can see, the actual hardware wallet doesn't have any more functions or features than it doesn't need. And then it has an app that communicates with it in some form. Well, probably with QRs and stuff, but it has an app that enables you to do like more with it. It gives you more functions. But from the looks of it, it seems like for the most part you could use this without the app. You just have less functionality. So pretty good reason to be on there. Trezor, it says advanced security features. So it's pretty decent price, but they have expensive version, but cryptocurrencies about 1,000. And we'll get So Tresor's wallets are small handheld devices that connect to a phone or computer via USB. The standard version can store over 1,000 different currencies and offer backup security protection through desktop or mobile. While the advanced touchscreen version does run entirely on the device itself, it can store up to 1,800 compatible coins. So the touchscreen version can run completely on its own. Okay, so there's a reason for including that model as one of the reasons for it. Okay, cool. The wallet has some advanced security features that make the crypto assets easier to recover in cases where the hardware wallet is lost. Now that's a bit scary. That sounds like a feature we don't really need because that's just how Bitcoin wallet key works. In that case, I could just write down my wallet key because it sounds like I'm gonna have to write something down in order to recover that. Unless it's like, oh no, it's got to be an account. Well, then I have to write my account information down. I could have just wrote down my private keys instead. So it comes down to a point whenever you see something like this in a hardware wallet, you're gonna have to question it because it most likely comes down to you could have just written down your private keys instead. Damaged or stolen is another thing. So that's okay. I can see why you'd want that then if it's even. But then again, if I just wrote down my private keys and my private keys were stolen, okay, yeah, I couldn't have that. But if I just had multiple copies of my private key, well, then I would still have my private key, so that wouldn't matter. While standard crypto hardware wallets give you the recovery seed, a bunch of other stuff, the regular stuff that a regular crypto wallet does, this hardware wallet gives you the same thing to recover in case of loss. It's just writing me on my keys though. Trezor takes this a step further by offering a Shamir backup recovery system, which this has got. We've actually talked about this with Aramis Brown before in the past. You can go watch that episode in the playlist on YouTube because we kind of go into this whole setup, and they do Shamir backup in the worst way possible. And so, like SafePal, Trezor facilities purchase, exchange, spending, staking through its desktop app. So it's something to be worried about, I think. It offers NFT storage. That's nice. And it connects to Trezor's open source desktop application. That's nice. Open source is always nice to see. And other wallet and browser extensions. Okay, cool. It does not have a mobile app, though customer support and data analysis are available online. And data analysis. Okay. So Ledger is the most popular. Um, Again, around the same price as the other one, including a more expensive one. About 5,500 currencies. Much better, I think, than the other one. Ledger's, as in number of currencies, obviously. Ledger's flash drive shaped hardware wallet is the most mainstream available and for purchase from Best Buy Wallet and Amazon. I think this probably means it's also maybe the easiest to use because it's available at more places, and you can actually buy this one anonymously. I'm just going to point that out now. This one can be purchased anonymously at Best Buy, Walmart, and Amazon, but it cannot be purchased anonymously if you have to have it shipped to you. But the Trezor can't be purchased anonymously at all, and SafePal can't be purchased anonymously at all. So, it's just something to think about. If they have any information on you, shipping records, anything like that, that can be used against you. So, the device can store 500 currencies connected to other wallets, which is kind of strange and weird. Like other options, here you can participate in exchanges, staking, and rewards for other blockchains, blah blah. So it can do other additional things as well, and NFT management as well. Cool. The Ledger version connects to mobile devices via Bluetooth, which is convenient, but some consider it less secure than USB or QR. Okay. So we can see why they're listed. They're strong, robust devices, but they all have some sort of issue. Okay, so what are the best hardware wallets we can get? I don't know why this site keeps doing this to me. It doesn't want to load the there we go. It doesn't want to load. Okay. Did I give you the link for this? What about this one? Alright, let's get back to where we were. So we have this. This is what I found on most of these sites that were like rating hardware wallets. and this is something I want you to be worried about. Look at their ratings. Look what they're looking at for ratings. Price range is a thing in their rating scale. That should not be there. Models reviewed. Okay, I get it. Sure. Hopefully, it does not affect your rating for each model or whatever. Amazon rating should not be here. That has nothing to do with the product. Amazon reviews actually has nothing to do with the product. I know everyone thinks it does. They're like, oh, but people reviewing it, but you can get fake reviews, bump reviews, and all this other stuff. So looking at just that fact does just looking at the number and how many does not make any difference because all that can be false. You actually have to go in and look at the reviews personally. Google rating, that doesn't matter. What if they're not available on Google? They won't have a Google rating. Google review, you'd have to be on Google to have a Google review. Not everybody's on Google. And Twitter followers, why does it matter if this company even has a Twitter account? So they're not using anything that makes sense for their reasoning of why you should buy this or why that is most popular or best. They're not even talking about popularity, they're talking about best. But really, that's just a popularity contest, what they're talking about. So, what's their methodology for ranking these things? Wallet security, cost, support tokens, reviews and customer reviews in Google and Amazon. Also as well as popularity factors. So really, this is a popularity contest. A lot of these is what they're going to be. They're going to be popularity contests. Does it explain to you a little bit of information what this stuff is? Yeah, but not very well. Does it give you more? Yeah, but and if you go through all of these, they all have something that is potentially issuable, like some kind of issue or problem. All of them. None of them are like the perfect solution. So take that into consideration. Now, this World Rigged site I want to point out has no reading option, but has a reading option. Because keep in mind, you don't have to have a site with a reading option. Let's go back to this FBI site. It has no reading option. So you don't have to have a reading option. You can turn it off. So keep that in mind. Well rigged might be well rigged in a bad way. So here we go. Let's go through it. 3 main ways to store crypto. Crypto custodial services. These are for big fat whales, he says. Most people are going to know what that means, big fat whales. Especially if you're not into crypto, you're going to be going, huh? And he says typically reserved for whales, these third-party services lock away your keys and crypto assets in a highly regarded physical vault. Some even offer insurance policies to protect the bonds. Believe it or not, there's actually 2 different forms of this, and I would love to say that these don't exist. But I actually own a company that does exactly this. They just simply store people's crypto so they don't have to. So they don't have to worry about a lot of things. But there's 2 different ways people do this. There's the you hand us something physically, we put that in something physically, and we get insurance on it. Well, not always insurance on it. But then you have the other one where it's like if they're an active player in it, and they keep it an active account. They don't let it go stale. So you have to constantly be paying for transactions every so often and stuff like that. But they basically just keep a watch on it because it's never good to just forget about your coins. It's good to watch them because you can just watch them through the public key though. So hardware wallet, a cold wallet for long-term holders. Even though most people won't know what that means, reading that and then going through here, you'll probably figure it out. Just kind of like big fat wells. He never actually explains what a well is. He should have said, you know, he does say these services cost quite a bit, which is why larger institutional investors like hedge funds. Okay, he does say at the very end. My bad, I missed that part. I went too fast. I skimmed too much. Okay, now software wallets, aka hot wallets. Okay, for degenerate altcoin trading. Kidding. No one, if anyone is not in crypto and they read this, they're not gonna know what that means. They're gonna have not a clue what's going on. But he has some good information. He actually explains the difference in a good set of factors, the difference between hardware wallets, software wallets. And it's pretty easy to figure it out. It's pretty nice. It's actually decent information. If we keep going through here, he's talking about vulnerabilities with hardware wallets, or with wallets in general. Vulnerabilities that hardware wallets do not have, he's saying. So, one of the things he's saying that these cold wallets don't have is You are not the client. I mean, you are the client, you are not the product. But as I was saying earlier, if you have to have it shipped to you, if they keep any information on you, like your name or anything like that, you are no longer the client. You are the product. And you probably go, no, 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 that's not how it works. That's not how it works. But keep in mind, you don't have to keep a name, a number, and address about people. You can have um, a customer number, a product number, a shipping number, invoice number, uh, employee work order number. You can have all of these things without having anyone's personal information. So if your database got hacked, they would just get a bunch of numbers. You don't have to store anything with those numbers. Sure, they mean stuff to know who? Nobody. Now, if I was the client and I needed to get a hold of you and we were talking on the phone and you're like, well, we don't have any information on our clients. Well, um, I have a receipt with the order number, blah, 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 blah. And I can start verifying the information through these numbers because I have enough of them, if not all of them, to verify with you to prove I am who I am. So there are ways to do this. So any company or country that says that you have to have information on, no, you don't. They were lying to you. They were wanting to keep you a product. Hardware wallets ecosystems are more stable, except when they have an app. Hardware wallets generally offer more redundancy, only if they're internet connected. So anything you go from this point on, you can see we can just very quickly say something opposite of it. Redundancy, just copy multiple of your own Bitcoin keys, your own private keys. Boom, done, roasted. I know you saw that. I know you saw that. Trezor support site breach exposes personal data of 66,000 customers. And this is only one of many times something like this has happened from hardware wallet manufacturers. From the manufacturers. Yeah, that's because customers are getting hit. Customers at one point were getting death threats. Threats of people just showing up to their house and beating them because they know where they live. Because it was sent to their home, their wallet. And for some reason, this company keeps all of the information on their customers, 100%. All the information on their customers, including how much money you spent. Well, that makes you a product. And when you look up more of these, you'll find out there's tons of these. I just got you. I think this was the most recent one. I think. So hardware wallets versus software wallet, pros and cons. Because there definitely are pros and cons. They kind of give you some information that you might want. Sure, sure, sure. So every crypto investor needs a digital wallet. Exploring hardware wallet versus software wallet. Okay, so basically you're gonna have functions in one and that's not involved in the other. Um, and when you go through this, basically a software wallet is always a vulnerability. No matter how you look at it and what you do, software wallet is always a vulnerability. In case you're wondering, 90% of all crypto wallets are software wallets. You have your basic wallet system on your computer. That's technically a software wallet. Hardware wallet. If you have a hardware wallet, the hardware is the vulnerability. You can't get around it. If you have a hardware wallet, the hardware is the vulnerability. And sometimes the code. Sometimes the code, yeah. So everyone basically plays off that hardware wallets are perfect security, perfect, best. But in reality, when we go through the history of hardware wallets, they are basically, if anything, potential bombs at any time to just blow up in your face. If it's an electronic device, you have a battery you have to keep up, and you have to have some power in at all times. Or if it has a removable battery, you might be able to store stuff on it, or it might just erase. Or if you have to have something written down to restore on your hardware wallet, you might as well just write down your keys in the first place. If there's an app that has to communicate with or wire or anything, I mean, everything about them is an explosive bomb that can blow up in your face. Because if your hardware wallet cannot just be used as is, you can't just throw in batteries in and out whenever you want. and you can't store it without batteries for a long time without it losing information, then that is not your keys, your crypto. That is your hardware. It's crypto. And I can't explain this very easily. So let's keep going through the problems. Let's just keep going through the examples. Here, they're going to give you risks of these wallets. So here we go. We all know that you should store your own private keys on a dedicated hardware wallet. I disagree. Millions of people worldwide would trust them to keep Bitcoin safe for good reason. No, actually, you should never trust anything. You should always verify. This is why I hate these things. Websites, they always say trust, trust, trust. No, why do we have to keep saying in crypto, don't trust, verify, for people to then turn around and say, but trust me, bro? No, don't fucking trust your hardware wallet. Don't trust the stuff. Stop trusting. Verify it. So no one should be storing their keys on a post-it note. Yeah, let me store it on a hardware device that at any point in time I could lose the data. And then what am I going to do? Nothing. Oh, you got a recovery system that we stored on our website, on our servers. That's why you get hacked. Oh, you're screwed. And their iCloud account. Right, yeah, you should never put something on an iCloud or a cloud account or something like that, because that's just someone else's computer. Or horrifically malware-infested computer, or you're right, or just a hardware wallet that I forgot to charge 1 month. That will destroy a hardware wallet. Don't believe me? Have a phone you haven't charged in a long time. Restore that you bought within the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I mean, phones 5, 6 years ago, you could throw them off to the side. I can take one today, plug it in, and it'll work. A phone 3 years ago, I leave it alone for 5 years. I plug it in, and it does not work. However, many of the top trusted hardware wallets, such as Trezor, Ledger, and Coldcard, all use the same hardware chips in them. So yes, we're actually going to see what we're here for. We're here to understand the hardware wallet itself. What is inside of it? Why is it a big deal? And how come almost all of them use the same damn chips? And is that a problem? Okay, so let's go into the anatomy. So the microcontroller unit acts as the brain or the CPU of the system. So it allows the external systems talking to the secure element, which is the vault of all this of your private key. Let's just say it like that. It's your private key. And we've actually gone over in the past with different episodes where we talked about there were a couple different times where we explained how the microcontrol unit could be used to manipulate the secure element to actually produce information. At one point in time, I did find an article about people using a wallet, a hardware wallet that had Bluetooth low energy Bluetooth capability. And it was on inside of a metal safe, and they were able to communicate using the safe as a communicator, basically. Um, and they were actually sending electrical signals through it and stuff, and it was creating a sound which they were picking up through the safe because the safe echoes and all this other fancy stuff. But I can't find the article anymore. But it was a really neat way where people were finding ways to remote physical attack hardware wallets, because we know there are ways to remote digital attack hardware wallets. And this person is getting down to the secure element, might be one of those things that can just be, who knows, remote software attacked, where you don't actually need access to the hardware to attack it. But they're also going to bring out another point. See, we see here all these hardware wallets using the same STM32, this exact one specifically. And you can use, as you can see, many of the top hardware wallets use all the same microcontroller, which is the brains of the system, which becomes the problem here because the mass majority of the hardware wallets are using the exact same product from the exact same manufacturer. And if we look at that manufacturer, ST Micro Electronics is a Dutch multilingual corporation, a technological company for the French-Italian origin, headquartered in blah blah blah, Geneva, Switzerland, and is listed on the French stock market. The company resulted from the merger of two government-owned semiconductor companies in 1987. It sounds like they're just a dual government company. Wow, this is so centralized, and it's bad. Very. It's government-owned semiconductor manufacturer of the top security chip that we know of. Because when something's that's critical to security, big and centralized, it can be compromised from far more easily than if it's decentralized in thousands of other smaller things. To make matters worse, this microcontroller is formerly owned by two governments, the French and the Italian governments, which um, any other government wanted a backdoor into the chip, it most likely wouldn't be a hard thing to line up. So here they point out that this has been done before, where companies have lined up with governments to do things. For example, there was a publicly exposed situation where the CIA or NSA, they're not too terribly sure which, was trying to, trying to monitor programs by purchasing them. But the entire time, one of the companies that the CIA and NSA was trying to purchase was actually owned by the CIA. The crypto AG was actually owned by CIA in a highly classified partnership with the West German intelligence. These spy agencies rigged up the company's device so they could easily break the codes that countries use to send encrypted messages. They have developed and created a company between a government agency, between two government intelligence agencies, built a company to build a secure system to then have publicly released into the world and into major systems to have a backdoor into other countries. Yes, that actually happened. Nice. And so now they're going to give off a bunch of these. So one potential thought metal to be raised by the Bitbox is called an anti-klepto attack. When you send a Bitcoin transaction, your wallet needs to create a signature. To create a signature, that wallet has to generate a random number known as a nonce, which can probably be, it should be completely random and only used once. Malicious hardware wallet can actually manipulate these nonces so that the transaction can contain arbitrary data such as parts of the seed. This means the transaction it creates contains a hidden secret. What they're basically saying is some wallet makers use XPub keys or extended public keys. It is a public key, that's what it said. It allows you to sign transactions, that's what it said. But it does actually contain part of your private key. And if you're not actually running completely random nonce, which most of them don't run completely random nonce, there's just not enough information on the small chips that they're using, what they end up doing is running one nonce one time before it's ever put into the system, and then they get a hash or a thing that is used to then generate random numbers from. So that's not random though; those are predetermined numbers now. And all we have to know is what that hash is, and we can actually regenerate all of those exact numbers in the exact order too. Um, so you can see, um, it doesn't take much to actually create a way to make these hardware wallets actually work against you. You just simply have to have the wrong chip or the wrong coding inside of it to do the wrong thing because you didn't get big enough chips because those don't exist for what you need. Just keep going. Just keep going. Because if you don't know it, because I can't believe I actually thought about this. I was going, oh, I'm talking about all open source stuff. I might actually want to talk about closed source stuff too. Closed source stuff is just as bad, if not worse, because you can't actually see what's going on. You have to really figure it out. And this is when Bitcoin key, or if one of these closed source hardware wallets is holding your keys, they are not your keys. They are 100% not your keys. Like before, you could say it's 99% maybe not your key. Now it's 100% not your key, bro. Because some of these, once you insert them, you can't even get them back. So if you don't keep your private keys written down somewhere, you just completely lost them. This kind of explains a lot of the problems with it. I don't really want to go through it. There's a bunch of stuff here you can actually look at and have fun with. If you want to get more information on it, just keep in mind that closed source hardware is more problemsome than open source hardware because you can't see what it's doing. It takes more time to figure it out, and less people are going to understand what those results even mean. Because that's another problem. Is like you can give all the results you want, but most people aren't going to understand what the heck your results mean. So, as we keep going through, Ledger has revealed vulnerabilities in its own competitors' product lines. The issues realistic or overblown. I mean, so basically, what they're talking about is hardware wallets are often considered the safest way to store cryptocurrencies. First of all, hardware wallets are rarely connected to an online computer. That's not true. Actually, most people who use hardware wallets almost always connect it to an online computer. A computer that's online at the time they even connect it, which makes them very hard to hack. if you was using it correctly, it would make it more difficult, but not very hard. Second of all, hardware wallets use secure chips that are designed to handle private keys in a tightly controlled manner by by government controlled companies or ex government controlled companies. We're not even sure the entirety of that situation. This makes hardware wallets one of the, in my opinion, least secure types of wallets in existence. In their opinion, most secure. However, the safety of hardware wallets has been called into question. Most likely, Ledger revealed vulnerabilities in hardware wallets in one of its competitors, Trezor, and this is just the most recent issue. Almost all hardware wallet brands have had vulnerabilities in the past, so are hardware wallets ready at risk? Are they really at risk, or are they really just overblown? So that's kind of the point here. They were trying to ask. So earlier this year, Ledger's security division discovered several security flaws in Trezor's wallet and Trezor clones. This July, the group highlighted a significant vulnerability that could allow attackers to access the Trezor's wallet's seed data. This could allow those attackers to steal cryptocurrency from the target. Trezor, however, has denied that this is a serious issue, it writes. In spite of containing rehash the same old news, that's right, they already knew about this, and their answer remains the same. The main goal of the horrible is the protection. If you feel like this is only a physical attack, if that's what's up, add a passphrase. Sure, that's all blah blah blah. And they say just add a passphrase, blah blah. Believes the vulnerability is much, but however, the Ledger security group means the vulnerability is much easier to exploit than previously reported. The attack no longer requires specialized equipment, Ledger says. Instead, it can be done with a $100 device. Trezor has indicated that the vulnerability is not entirely new. In March, Ledger revealed other flaws in Trezor wallets that a firmware fix. However, this particular point is a hardware issue. Now, I want to point out the hardware issue this is that secure chip. So, a company is pointing out a vital flaw in another company's system that drops down to the same chip that that company is also using. Nice! Thank you for actually telling us how to now hack almost every hardware wallet in existence. Nice! Not even joking. Using the attack method these people use, you can actually hack almost every hardware wallet that exists. If they use that specific EP33 that we saw, this attack is possible. It's a hardware issue. Can't get around it. But, as we've seen, there are potential fixes through firmware, through the code. So, what that really means is you can make this a much more difficult problem for people if you can actually verify the code. Other potential physical attacks, but remote lines of attacks do exist. For example, Psy discovered a Trezor Ledger vulnerability that potentially allows ransoms to be performed over the internet. And a year ago, security research discovered a flaw that could have attackers access a YubiKey hardware wallet through a feature in Google Chrome web browser. Through a web browser feature, they were able to access a YubiKey hardware wallet. That's because it's not, YubiKey is not actually safe at all. I don't know why anybody thinks that they're safe. They are very, very bad. So software bugs can result in loss of funds as well. This March, Monero XMR developers made an error in the design of Ledger's Monero wallet plugin, which accidentally caused users to temporarily lose access to their funds. This bug was fixed in April, and the users' funds were restored. So they didn't actually lose anything. They just lose access to be able to see it. See their funds is really what happened there. But it just points out that when you have a plugin, that can actually, if the chain API has a plugin for your hardware wallet, that can affect your hardware wallet. I mean, someone can actually just go in and do an update to the plugin for that, and maybe one day start stealing everybody's keys without people noticing it. And when I say your keys, I don't really mean your keys, but perhaps, I don't know, maybe they could steal enough target information directly from one individual wallet they could actually then use a codex and a type of algorithm to backtrack public key generation and signing generation to figure out a pattern of repeat to then decode their potential base 58. Yes, that's a real thing, people. I hate knowing this stuff. Not really. Let's just keep going, because this gets funner and funner. The more we look into horror wallets, the worse they seem, unless we can just do it ourselves, it seems like. The issues with Ledger and hardware wallets. Yeah, everyone hates these guys. Ledger known is for the environment of these two products, Ledger X and Ledger Nano S plus these products, blah blah blah. But now they are a long associated with Ledger Live application. Attempt to strike a balance between security and user friendliness. While these offerings appear to be catered to consumer needs in the world of decentralized finance, the crucial is for the users to critically assess the balance between the offered convenience and potential security risks that come with using this any hardware wallet. Huh. Someone finally figured it out. Recently, Ledger has introduced a new feature called Ledger Recovery. Now, again, we talked with this with Ernest Brown. If you really want to learn the details of this information and like why this is really bad and all this other stuff, she kind of breaks it down really quick for you and shows the proofs behind it in one of our previous episodes. If you go to the YouTube for Bitcoin Live DB, you go ahead to the playlist and you'll find multiple playlists for this show, and you'll see it in the second set. Okay, so basically, um, it just basically gives them more access. And it says, technically speaking, it has been possible to write firmware that facilitate key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger to not deploy such firmware, whether you knew it or not. Ledger just admitted that the only thing you were trusting them to not fuck you over, then they developed something that can and is designed to fuck you over. In other words, the public might have had acceptation that keys weren't going to ever leave the ledger, but the acceptation is actually impossible to support today. Wait a minute, you can't just keep the keys in the ledger? Because the keys already have to leave the most trusted part of the secure element just to... So if you have a hardware wallet, you're screwed. Oh, and they also admit that if you are a recovery user and you have assured into the safeguard by third parties, yes, the government can subpoena them and gain access to your funds admitted by the co-founder, former CEO, the former chairman, okay, of Ledger. Thank you. Nice. Well, yeah, you know we're gonna go there. So let's just do it ourselves. Let's just do it ourselves. Now this site right here, they're gonna really walk you through it. This lady, whoever wrote this person, whoever actually wrote this is really good because I hear all the time people say, I won't do it unless someone's going to hold my hand through every step of the process. This site holds your hand through every step of the process. So it's going to look really confusing. There's going to be a bunch of steps. First, you're downloading the crypto wallet and formatting the USB. Here are all the steps to do that, and I mean all the steps. There ain't no other steps to do this. There ain't no hidden step. If it says to do, that's all you gotta do. You do what it says, you do what it says, you do what it says, you keep going, and you get it done. Installing Tools OS. We also did this. We also explained you guys how you can do this. If you want to know that with a video, go check out one of my previous episodes. Or read this and do it step by step for yourself. How to do, every step of what you're going to need for a basic USB hardware wallet. They got you. 1,000%, bro. They got you. But I know because you're watching this video, you probably prefer a video of how to do this. So I went and found you one. PyZor or PyTresor. So there are other ways to do this, and we just found out that Ledger and Trezor, you gotta exit the secure element anyways to use your private key. So why don't we just use general hardware anyways? If the reason why everyone says don't use general hardware is because it's not secure, but you can't even use a secure element to make secure hashings without it leaving the element in the middle of that, then I guess it doesn't matter. You know, let's get specific. I know some people are going to want to be specific with a specific type of hardware wallet because that's just what they want. We got you covered. Because, if you're doing it yourself, you can at least have the framework of removing things you don't want in your thing. Yes, they are actually using a different STM32. Wow, someone paid attention to their homework when they built this article. And they're going to walk you through the steps. They're going to give you in each part. They go to the experts, for example, this one is framed by Jameson Lobs, a comparative review for this Model T. Okay, for this version. They give you the BOM, the bill of materials, they give you the schematics, and the build of instructions list. So, nice. Nice. So, they give you everything you need for each one of these, including how much it should cost, about the pricings, what you need. You just look exactly this right here, and then you look for like exactly this right here. You don't have to guess. You need it to have this, you need it to have that. Cool. It's going to cost about that. Cool. Every little step for all of these. And there's some major ones, even the ones we know that have vulnerabilities, but the vulnerabilities was partially software, partially hardware, which we saw now. They're going to use a different STM32 to bypass part of that issue. Nice. So now we can just straight up build the ones we want. Oh, look, a different secure chip if we want. Nice. Um, so we could, if you want to really get complicated, you could actually have one secure chip, and you can have two secure chips. You have one that is your basic secure hashing, and it sends the data from one secure chip to another secure chip using a secure pipeline. And then you can actually have a secure network on a hardware wallet, which would be then more secure, because then you can create any amount of secure setup or hash and then output a non-secure output. Like you'd have an hash that you don't have to worry about being secure. But here's something I found really exciting. I honestly think if you're going to do this, Bitbox is probably like the easiest one to actually do. They say the Trezor 1, though, technically should be the easiest one to really do. But just because there's less to do on there, less to solder. But I honestly think the Bitbox was easier. So, my opinion. There you go. You know I ain't just going to stop there. I didn't just show you guys one way to handle things. I'll show you guys 1,000 ways. So we got to show you how to verify stuff. So here's going to show you how to verify the Ethereum side of cryptography, or Ethereum ethers. So here you go. You can actually install it yourself, or what some people I recommend do is you get down to this area right here, and you can actually look into your code and make sure your code that you're going to install into your DIYed or handmade wallet, you can make sure it has the right code, or you can just give it the right code. Nice. So now you can verify your code. Step-by-step guide for building your own crypto wallet. Now you think, when of these walk your hand through it? I got you 2 of these that walk your hand through it. I haven't got you one that walks you through the verification of the code. So now here's one that does everything. Okay, so understanding the crypto. This is going to step you through actual what you need in a wallet. Okay, it's going to go through all the steps of what is it? I don't really know what goes in a hardware wallet, man. Here you go. This site is going to hold your hand and walk you through all the steps that you need to know what goes in a hardware wallet, from selecting a platform to wallet functionalities to an IDE. Yes, you might actually need to copy and paste stuff into an IDE and click a button, but guess what? They're here to let you know what is up, how to set it up, what to do, and most of it is going to be just like this. Copy this, paste it somewhere, hit a button. Designing the user interface, believe it or not, you can copy it off. There's a billion of them that already exist. Just copy someone else's. Creating the wallet backend. There's really secure versions of these. We're just going to copy someone else's. Implementing security measures. Going to copy someone else's that's better than us. Because most people are going to be doing this. I'm not going to be able to hand code this stuff. Integrity with the blockchain network. This is where I would recommend you getting your own node, setting up your own API, and just having it communicate directly to your own node. But they're also going to help you through that, and also how to test it, assure it, and get feedback on what's going on, so that way you can make it better. Step by step on what needs to go in a crypto wallet. Yeah. I mean, they said Trezor is completely open source, right? So, I found a site that fully gives you how to do it, including a video. Yeah. What required parts to get up to Trezor, everything. What can actually be 3D printed, the case. How to actually get the boards, everything. Here's all the firmware. Here's all the information. Um, yeah, everything you need, bro. It's not that hard. Actually, Trezor is one of the easiest to straight up build. It's one of these ones that requires another device or something like that. So, I mean, there's, you know, it. It's a thing. Just do it yourself, right? So at this point, you may be very curious of what perspective I'm trying to change. I'm sure most people see hardware wallets as a safe or as a perfect storage method, but there is not a safe nor a perfect storage method with cryptocurrency. It's actually pays to keep an eye on your crypto. There have been entire types of wallets banned in the Bitcoin community, and actually originally they were banned in the cryptography community, and then that ban was accepted by the Bitcoin community at the time. And it's actually called the Brain Wallet. You may recognize that name because big hardware wallets of early 2017 were just brain wallets. That's where you flip a coin, or you guess '01, or you pick random. Those are brain wallets. Those are the worst kinds of wallets in the world. The original brain wallet system is called Green Wallet, and the Green Wallet that exists now is not the same, but the original Green Wallet was banned. It's hard to find anything on it because it was banned before 2016, even though one of the biggest hardware wallets at the time, Mr. McAfee, in 2017, wanted to make the best brain wallet in the world, which was just a Bitcoin private key. End of the day, you were just making a Bitcoin private key to store Bitcoin private keys. Pretty darn bad, and we'll get into more of why brain wallets are bad if you can stick just a little bit longer. But it keeps returning in the form of hardware wallets. So you have to be aware hardware wallets, software wallets, and even the most safe building, private key never on, just writing down the private key offline, never being online with an offline everything. Nothing is going to protect you from everything. Hardware wallets can be hacked. Many use sub-master key generation, where it's a master key based from a private key, which means that someone else can have access to it. It can be swept anytime without you needing, and people can actually watch what you're doing also without you noting it. Even the most safe system building block. Wait, hold on. Wait, I just skipped a line. Sorry. They use sub-master key generation masks, which are extended public keys generating new master keys, but there is a master key above them. Software wallets can normally be hacked by offshoot traffic, let alone tons of other ways. Paper wallets can be double generated, like with the green wallet maths, and like with low entropy generations or low bit keys. You should never trust, ever. You should always verify, no matter what. So I really hope you can see that. I hope that if you see that you're getting like a hardware wallet or getting the wallet that meets your needs, make sure you're not thinking of an impractical reasons for using a wallet or how you're going to access the wallet or what the wallet is for, and make sure it's something you're actually going to use and not just lay around for forever and let it die off and you lose everything. A full offline wallet may not be the best for day-to-day purchasing, and like a Bluetooth connectable wallet may not be the best for long time storage, since people can still connect to it. Like, it can be connected to it without you noticing it, especially if you're just not looking at it. So, I know I got the thing behind me. You guys are probably like, wait, why isn't it gone yet? Da 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 da. Yeah. It's about to make sense here in a second. So, I wanted to not let you guys go away without this information on Green Wallet, because I know I just very quickly gave you a little bit of information on Green Wallet. So what is that? So this is an article from 2016 talking about something that happened the year before. In the year before, about roughly 1,000 brain wallets used by Bitcoin owners to store their money have been looted by malicious actors. Brain wallet or a brain wallet is the concept of storing private keys used to make Bitcoin transactions by an individual's memory. That's not actually what all a brain wallet is. Is also if you're just like flipping a coin, or you're only giving yourself two options output as a binary coding situation. So some people just sit there and say, oh, one, oh, one. They'll just guess numbers, like guess an O or a 1, or they'll flip a coin, or they'll roll a really low dice, like a 3 or a 4 die, um, and they'll make that all their decisioning, and those are brain wallets. Brain wallets are derived from passcodes chosen by the user, which they are initially considered more secure than traditional wallets. So the original Green Wallet, what it was, you'd go in and you create a passphrase. You give it a passcode, and that would generate the wallet. That was all the entropy you were using. So the longer your passphrase, the better your entropy. But we'll find out why brain wallets are bad in a second. However, it's been demonstrated by the brain wallets they are not efficient for storage because Bitcoin's passwords can be easily cracked. Researchers Ryan in a Dev Talk in 2015, so the year before, showed them how they were cracking brain wallets, and then brainwallet.org servers was shut down because of that. A research paper publishing this month, so this is 2016, published a new method of doing it 2.5 times faster. Nice. The analysts conducted at researchers at the University of Tulsa, Stanford, University of Southern Methodist University also found that brain wallets have, in most cases, failed to protect Bitcoins from being stolen. An evaluation of roughly 300 billion passwords generated using a wide range of public information um, revealed that only less than 1,000 brain wallets have been set up between 2011 and 2015. But the 300 billion passwords, again, from all public locations, uh, these passwords were then compared to a list of all the Bitcoins used and addresses to determine which of them were associated with brain wallets, because you just do the math and figure out what the end result is. Experts had identified 884 brain wallets storing about 1,806 Bitcoin at that time, worth 100,000. Right now, it's worth like 3 million. Determined that 21 of them, representing 2% of total, were not drained. So 21 of those 884 brain wallets were not drained, which is a total of 2% of the total wallets out of that. Or 2% of the total Bitcoin supply was not removed. According to researchers, many wallets were drained within minutes, while most within 24 hours. Wallets loaded within the last one with at least $100 worth of crypto were looted faster than the ones without. And basically, they were able to search just public keys that have money in a manner. They could look for a certain method of output that would guarantee it was a brain wallet. So they had that automated system for just stealing your keys the second you used it. Um, that's not even the worst part. You can not believe me. You don't have to believe a word I say. Here's the actual paper from 2016. Um, this has everything on it. This actually has, I think, been updated or something since then. This has more information in there than we previously knew in the article we just read. So let's go further. In 2019, this came about where they were talking about brain wallets, right? So this is originally from somewhere else right here, how to help protect yourself. And look at this. The address is kind of related. The address is kind of related to brain wallets. Here's the address right here. A new link we'll look at in a second. Current balance is 72 Bitcoin. The classic brain wallet is created using this setup. The address is resulting in this. I don't know if it's a broken brain wallet generator or a broken wallet, possibly the latter. The wallet mistakenly hashing a zero length buffer instead of hashing a public key. In other words, there is a public key wallet with no private key because it's a way of you can make them. It's very possible. Well, the problem is you can't use it afterwards. So this $3 million worth of Bitcoin has been burned because someone used a brain wallet and did not check to see if the brain wallet could be pulled out of. You could do the maths like this person did and try to figure out pretty simply if it has a private key. Or you could just try to use the wallet, put money in it, pull money out. And the problem is once you do that, you can't use the wallet again. Kind of screwed. So here you go. Brain wallet. You can send money to, but you can't pull money out. Just because you can create a wallet doesn't mean you can use it. But I know everyone's going to want some kind of defense. People are going to want to know what to do. And I don't have the time to actually go through and explain it all to you. We've done a bunch of different things. And in the end, you should know almost everything now. But in case you don't, here's some more. Here's some more info for you. Because I don't think there's anything else we can really say about this. Hardware wallets are great, but they're also really, really bad. If you ask me, I think the best way a hardware wallet's used is to like have a functioning, like usable, transactionable system outside your home. If you want long-term storage, private key is best. So I did promise if you guys waited, we would talk about this. So we did a transaction, and it made it all the way to, yes, and I'm saying it, it made it to the internet. So it actually made it on-chain. And if you give me a few seconds, I'll see if I can pull up the thing. Give you guys a link. Because we did a video, we did one, did a past episode, and I said you guys can view it from the playlist. I'm just going to quickly pull it up so I can get you guys a link to that playlist maybe.
All right,
Here we go. So we go through here. Here's the list. We can see here living on crypto and a few other things. Um, we go all the way down. We can see here we did hardening Bitcoin over the airwaves. If you go check out this episode, we actually did a Bitcoin testnet transaction. That transaction made it to the chain. I said, hey, we would do some kind of giveaway. And so for the next 2 weeks, pay attention to the Bitcoin Live network on Twitter. Pay attention to my next episode. I know this one is a reshoot a week after the last one. We had an audio issue, and I wanted to make sure you guys got this fully with audio because it's really important to me of this episode. But we also wanted to go ahead and say thank you. So keep an eye and ear out for how and what exactly that's going to happen coming up for the next episode.